Welcome to episode 83 of Instant Expertise Marketing. In our last few episodes, we have revealed the 4 pillars that you need to get right in order to create an offer that attracts and converts prospects and can also convince your existing customers to buy even more.
Your prospects and customers, they do need a reason to engage. And we've been creating those reasons to help Fortune 500 companies and everyday name brands drive incremental revenue for 35 years now. And now we're going to be opening the curtains to reveal exactly how we do that for you.
And, in this last episodes, we shared the 4 pillars and kind of our aha moments on how those work together. So, what we wanted to do today was really give you an inside look about how we go about creating a signature offer for a new client. And you can use this to sort of create your own offer or reach out to us to help you do that as well. And as you hopefully know, I'm Yvette Brown, co founder of XPROMOS. I became an entrepreneur at 23 by starting a promotions agency with my then 29-year-old business partner, Shari Nomadi.
And as you know by now, I'm Shari Nomadi. And you probably know that Yvette and I approach business from opposite ends of the spectrum. And yet we always come to the same conclusions on how to help our clients succeed best. Our goal today is to share some ideas about how to go about creating your very own signature offer.
And this is something that we have done together for a very long time. So, Shari, why don't you tell us, everybody, where we start?
Well, the first thing we do, of course, is establish the parameters of the project. So we try to get the client to be as specific as they possibly can about the objectives, including where the prospects are in the customer journey and exactly what action they want them to take. Now, sometimes clients don't have an exact number in mind, and so we help set those goals and parameters with them. And at the same time, we're also going to confirm timing, budget, target audience size. For instance, if it's a campaign targeting a specific segment of existing customers, or are they going to be doing something targeted to a nurture group of ABM prospects? We need to know because there's a big difference there.
Exactly. And, we are known and we promote the idea and the reality that we're a low maintenance agency. So, one thing we never do is overburden a client with too many asks. And while we would love to have them spend a whole lot of time, telling us about their brand and getting into the details, we know they don't have the time or the resources or the bandwidth for that. So instead, we ask them to share any easy to get to relevant information for us. And this can be anything from their value statement and USP to their ICP descriptions, personas, buyer journey information. Sometimes it's samples of marketing programs or white papers, and even their brand standards can all help us get a feel for the brand. And, once we sort of have that from a client, we venture out on our own. We do our own research as if we were buying the product or service. And that includes doing what a typical prospect would do. We go to we go to the internet, right? We look at their
Right.
website, we look at competitors, we go to forums, we go to trade associations by knowing the target audience and the category that the brand is in. We can do that. We also look at, partners or resellers or retailers, depending on the brand itself. Where can we find it and what are they saying about it? And of course, review sites are also really important. And for us, it's not really just reviewing those, first 3 top reviews. We'll go as deep as we can to really look for insights about what people are saying or thinking about the brand. And during this time, it really gives us a chance to not just do the research, but think, right? It helps us imagine what a prospect or customer is going through and what sets their brand apart from the rest, like really the essence of the brand and what makes them different.
And guys, that is just the beginning.
Yep.
Next, we look at the customer personas. We look at what the target audience has in common and what makes them tick. We look at what pain points they have and what it would mean to have that itch scratched. And oftentimes, we have to make a leap about what the majority of this audience might respond to. If the audience is really varied for some reason, then we have to take note of that as well, because that can impact the rewards that we suggest.
Yeah, and in some cases, we actually have built programs that offer different rewards because we just felt like that would give greater reach to what we were trying to do. But speaking of rewards, another important part of that equation is starting to form a list of reward types that we think might be appealing. And this comes a lot from what's trending and what's culturally relevant at the time. It's, hot swag and gifts and like kind of all, we have a lot of tricks up our sleeve in terms of trying to track that and stay on top of it. But this is really just a time where we start to build a list that we think might be relevant and are at the price point that we think is going to fit into our budget.
And at the same time, we are thinking about the logistics
Hmm.
because we know most people aren't thinking about that.
Yeah.
So, for instance, at the top of the funnel for lead generation, sometimes a really big reward like a bucket list prize can work well to capture the names. The key is to make it appeal to your audience and not to the public at large, again, so that you're getting great data. Further down the funnel, let's say maybe at the purchase point or an upsell, you often do a lot better with a tangible reward for everyone who takes your desired action you have set forth.
Yeah, and one addition to this is, and we talk about this all the time, is you really have to make sure that your reward aligns with what you're asking your prospect or customer to do. If it's not in alignment, if it's not a decent reward for taking that action, your prospect or customer is not going to act, and that's just kind of it. And um, so another consideration along with that is timing. We know that seasonality really makes a difference, as does geography. So, for instance, hand warmers may not be a great reward in the middle of summer, but they can be really impactful, for instance, in the winter if you've got the right copy that connects it to your brand. And so there may be an obvious fit there, or at least something that we need to consider as we're moving through the list of potential ideas.
So once we understand the essence of the brand, why it matters to the prospect or the customer, we have thought about some potential rewards and other considerations like seasonality. Then we begin that magical creative process in earnest.
Yeah, and I like to think that this really is the magical part, but maybe that's because I'm the creative. But the goal here is to communicate the essence of the brand to your prospect or customer using a reward that, even as a reinforcing metaphor, right? Like it really should reflect your brand. If what you're offering doesn't, you're probably not doing it right. And
Mhm.
that's what makes the signature offer so special, is that it's not a one-off discount or reward that maybe is, might be appealing, but if it doesn't relate to the brand, it's not a signature offer. A signature offer is an extension of your brand. It makes the prospect take notice, it makes them feel good about the brand, and then it compels them to take action because it's something that they want.
But the signature offer does not end there, does it, Yvette?
It sure doesn't.
As you know from our four pillars, the mechanics do matter. And our goal is always to make the mechanics really fun and engaging. This is an obvious approach for the B2C, but not always so obvious for the B2B. But these are also people who could use a really engaging distraction in an otherwise very busy day.
Yeah, and that's an often overlooked point. And the reality about mechanics is that the options really are endless. There's so many different ways that you can create something and make it fun and engaging. And unfortunately, we don't really have the time to cover the broad swath of those today, but I think suffice to say, engagement really does matter. And if this prospect isn't already a customer, how you deliver and fulfill that offer matters as well. You want to make sure that the mechanics deliver an experience that is simple, is clear, concise, and frictionless. And we work through all those logistics to make sure that as a whole, the signature offer delivery is a positive experience for your prospect or customer that supports the essence of your brand.
And from there, we flesh out the concepts for client presentation. We usually let the ideas sit and marinate for a day or two, and this actually makes them better when we review them with fresh set of eyes then. And usually we present three different approaches that will fit within the budget parameters. And for these presentations, typically we have a theme, but not detailed copy yet. We might possibly have an outline of copy depending on the concept and how far we got with it.
And, I just have one thing to add to that idea of the marination time. This is a point where, for us, for Sherry and I, it works so well to have a account creative team look at this because um, you look at these, ideas that are super creative, but Sherry will come in and be like, well, wait a second, is this really saying what we need to say? Are we saying something that doesn't quite fit the brand? Do we need to have it work in a different way? Or what about this? And, it stepping away from it and coming back is really the part that we would absolutely recommend everybody do because that's what makes this thing super strong, right? And sort of,
Right.
helps pass the test. That doesn't mean that it goes through some big committee type thing. This is just we want to feel good about these and make sure that it's going to meet our clients' objectives and really exceed their results. So with that, that's kind of our approach, right, Jerry?
It is actually. And I really hope this gives you guys a sense of the process, and the importance of really thinking through the signature offer for your brand. Remember now, your awesome content, it deserves a compelling offer to drive engagement. So make that compelling offer your own by creating your own signature offer. Spend some time to create a relevant reward that relates to your brand, it appeals to your audience, and it aligns with your ask, whether that's capturing an email at the top of the funnel or at the bottom of the funnel, giving them some kind of getting a review from them or a referral.
Exactly. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you feel like you could still use assistance in creating your very own brand signature offer, make sure you reach out to us at xpromos.com. And until next time, thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.